Hello and welcome, folks. We're back with another video of the series Road to 100K. Right off the bat, I'd like to say that this past trading week, has been a green one. We made a grand total of about $50 through one credit spread. And if you like green weeks like I do, make sure to leave a like and a comment below. Before I go into the main bulk of this video, some of you might have just been wondering, just from looking at my cash and my available funds in the top left corner, that there is a little bit of discrepancy from that number when compared to what I had last week. That's just because I have a couple of different options that I trade other than credit spreads here. Here's my trade history from last week. This is the put credit spread that I did this week, and I'll be covering that shortly. So just keep in mind about that. I'll always show my trading history this week so that you can, if you want, you can just add and subtract, do all the math. I'm not going to do it here. I'm just hoping you'll take my word. But if you doubt me, here's the history to back it up. Okay, let's jump right into this past trading week. Let's take a look at what happened. The first thing I want to go over is the volatility that happened this week. I want to cover that briefly before we go into the credit spread stuff. Thursday and Friday, we had pretty big red days. Thursday was about a 3.5% to the downside, and then Friday was, I think, just under a percent. We hadn't seen that type of movement in a while, in a couple of months. I think the last time we saw that was back in June. So if we take a look at the 180-day chart here, yeah, you can see in early June we had a big red gap down here, and then a couple of smaller down days towards the end of this month. Other than that, we did have maybe like one in July as well, now that I'm looking at this, but this is something we did not see for a while of this caliber. So I just wanted to mention about that because there's a couple of things we got to start looking out for when we have big red days like this. The main thing that we really need to look at is the key support levels. Right now, there's, I believe, a support level right around the 3,400 line. There's a couple of reactions here, the all-time high pre-COVID, and then a bit of a sideways action here as well. So a couple of reactions here. Again, take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not the best technical analysis. This is just something that built up as a hobby. And so that's what I think. And if the S&P actually breaks through it, we're gonna fall a little bit down. There's gonna be a little bit more downside movement. But if not, if that support holds next week, in my opinion, I think we're gonna start seeing some more green days again. Return back onto that train. Uh, it's honestly a flip of a coin. I have no idea. So that's why make sure you monitor closely what's going on Monday and Tuesday. I would say hold off on any sort of trades until things start to pan out. Um, so just bear that in mind. All right, let's take a look at what I did this week. On Monday, I had placed a two contract 34.45 and 34.40 put credit spread for an expiration of 3 days, Monday to Wednesday. This is the only trade I did this week, and I did go very, very conservative on this simply because I felt the RSI was getting pretty high up there, and I wanted to be extra safe. $50 for two contract expiration 3 days is very, very conservative. A little bit more conservative than I like, but that's the thing with these credit spreads. It's much better to be safe because the collateral you lose on these is a lot higher than your profit. Remember that profit to collateral ratio. We try to aim for 10%, but this time it was more like 5%, maybe even lower than that. Yeah, it was actually about 5%. But anyway, that one expired worthless, and I was planning to actually place another credit spread on Thursday. But when I opened my Thinkorswim app on Thursday morning and I saw these huge, huge red candlesticks, well, decided to stay out. it was way too volatile for my liking. So in that case, it's better to sit on the sidelines for a little bit and see what the market does. So that was why I only did one trade this week. And we have to be watching what the market is going to be doing early next week to put in another trade. I want to see if that support that we talked about can hold. If it does hold, I may resume doing put credit spreads, but we have to be very careful. I Doing credit spreads during a volatile time is the worst thing, in my opinion, that you can do because the market just swings so much. So it could possibly be that we just sit on the sidelines for the next week or two, and that's perfectly fine. Credit spreads, again, are supposed to be very conservative and safe. The only main things that can destroy them and cost you a lot of money is when you have these big events like, Thursday and Friday, and those are just the tip of the iceberg if we actually have a potential market correction. So that's just something that might happen. With that said, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching and thanks for joining me on this journey on the road to 100K.